What's up, guys? Brian Radigan here from the Back Nine Podcast. We just wrapped up a really cool interview with Tom Goslowski, former host over at 104.5 The Team ESPN. We talked about my days as an intern there, his Bucs making it to the first Super Bowl since 2002, as well as his brand new podcast, Getting There With Goz. Before we dig into the interview, the Par 3 is back, baby. We're going to be talking about the video game series that is coming back for the first time in 7 years. You know what it is. NCAA Football, as well as a couple other sports video games that are in the mix. So let's get into it. Episode sponsored by Stay Thirsty Co. Let's go. Alright guys, teeing off on this week's Part 3. If you haven't seen already, EA Sports announced that NCAA Football is back for the first time in 7 years. The last time they released a game was 2014. Denard Robinson was on the cover. He was the biggest thing for Michigan football. Then he went on the Jacksonville Jaguars and then crashed his car into a pond. So a lot has happened in 7 years. Now, EA Sports is back. They said they're not putting the actual college players into the game, probably because they don't want to pay them. Guys, if you're asking me if college athletes should be paid, yes, I was a college student at one time, and no, it wasn't fun begging your parents for money to go to the bars on the weekend. Can I add that in? Anyways, moving on to number 2. MLB The Show. Xbox fans, you guys are no longer virgins. You guys get to play MLB The Show for the first time. I know, PlayStation is so much better. But now the next-gen consoles, Xbox One, PS4, PS5, and the Xbox X now have MLB The Show with Fernando Tatis Jr., the youngest player ever to grace the cover of MLB The Show at 22 years old. Probably the biggest thing for the Padres franchise of all time because in the past, 50 seasons, however long they've been around, they've been complete ass. They finally made the playoffs last year, which is dope. And coming in at number 3, guys, 2K has reached an agreement with the NFL to bring back their football franchise. Now, if you're comparing EA Sports and 2K, it's like getting a birdie, or it's like missing your birdie putt and getting a par. That's what 2K is. Actually, no, that's like 3-putting. It's like getting 2K as a football game. 2K Sports, I don't know what you're doing. Just stick to basketball. Your football games were ass. That's it for the Par 3. Alright guys, Tom Goslowski joining me now. Well, he joined me 4 hours ago, and I screwed up everything. I screwed up like I would during my internship with my time at 104.5 The Team. Goz, thank you for joining me for the second time today. I've taken up about 4 hours of your time.
If it makes you feel better, early in my time at my old radio station, somebody accidentally deleted a Danny Amendola interview we did, and we were so excited about it. This is when the Patriots were really good. This is like in 2015. I didn't do it. I did not delete it. Somebody did. So don't feel bad. I'm not as important as Danny Amendola, and I don't mind doing this again. This is fun. I like hanging out with you. So
I know that is true. Like I said, I haven't talked to in a year because I was so scared to give you a call after I effed up the show. We'll get into that in a little bit, but to start off, I just want to get in a couple internship stories. I had a great time interning with you guys, and like you said, like I told you earlier, I was shitting my pants walking into my first day with you guys, shaking, and then I heard Levac do the O'Reilly Auto Farts commercial, and then he goes at the end, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna like these guys. This is gonna be a good time.
Yeah, dude.
Obviously, I was nervous being the new guy, but you guys made it so easy to adjust, and we had some good memories. Like I said, the football game, if you want to explain a little bit, go ahead.
Yeah, it was media versus the UAlbany police. It was really cool. It came together. It was supposed to be television, newspaper, and radio versus the Albany police, like the university police, I should say, UPD. And it ended up just being the crew at 104.5 The Team. It was hosts, producers, interns. It was a great game. It came down to the wire. You made a big play, the safety and everything else. So it was awesome, man. It was a really cool time playing in that game and you getting to be a part of it. It showed like whether you're an intern, producer, on air, everybody was, I know it's one of those overused cliches in sports. Everybody's a family, but it really felt like everybody wanted to be a part of that event, which was so cool.
Dude, I remember like shaking having to ask you, hey, can I play in this game, man? Like, I want to play. I didn't know who it was for. And, I haven't worked out in like 2 years. I can't run up a hill without losing my breath. And I'm sitting there like halftime. I'm like, bro, like, let's keep this thing going. And you guys are asking me if I'm okay. My face was bright red. And I ended up, the play got called back, but Danny's going to pull this clip up. I ran it and I juked out 2 cops on like a 40-yard run. I ended up getting called back, but we have it on film. I still posted it all over my social media because I made 2 cops fall. And I thought that was pretty sick. And I'll probably never do that again. Now I'd probably get tackled, and let's just hope I never have one of those encounters with.
I'm pretty sure didn't Johnny Manziel do that to the Arkansas police at some point? Manziel was running away from the cops.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield had a couple too. Couple incidents. I think he had one, and then he was like, no, I'm not Johnny Football. That's not who I am, But another cool part of the internship was going to Togo with you guys on Fridays. I didn't think that should count toward internship credit. Can you explain some of the things I did for these guys or?
For you?
Yes. So basically what happened to the Saratoga, for those that don't know who aren't from the capital region, like that Friday event is when we'd go out and broadcast live from the track. And we'd usually have something called a promotions team, a live on location team, a street team. But how we did it that year, I believe, is that our street team got there earlier at like 9:30 to set up for Big Board Sports, which was on from 10 to noon at that point. And then rather than them hanging around, if there was usually, Levac and I would get there early so that we really didn't need the street team. But what we did need is that people during the show would come over. And even though you have headphones on, people would be like, hey, who are you betting in race 4? Like, they didn't care. So we needed some type of buffer between, hey, we're on the air, we're off the air. A guest is coming over, we're going to break. Tell them we're going to break. Keep an eye on the race if there's a scratch. So you kind of were like our
I was a bouncer.
Right, bouncer, producer, and then sometimes we were fortunate enough to get some food and drinks during it, and you were like, I'll just make sure this tastes well for you guys.
Couple beers, couple druthers, some local breweries. It was nice. Another cool thing was that you guys don't know about was when you guys left for probably 3-4 minutes to go place a bet. I thought I was a badass and put the headset on with the ESPN background. I'm like, sitting here doing nothing. But I was like, but in my head, I'm like, yeah, I got the selfie, but the down look, serious one. I'm
talking about when you
put the camera down low and you're looking straight at weird angle. Like you could see up my nose, and people are probably like, why the hell is he posting this? Because ESPN was in the background, and
I thought it was really cool.
Right. Let's get into the Super Bowl because I know your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in the Super Bowl for the first time. See, earlier in the interview, I had my Super Bowl Giants shirt on. Now I'm wearing a team I'm not even a fan of. I couldn't tell you why. This is like my third outfit change of the day. Something cozy, But I'll tell you my Super Bowl pick first. I'm going, before the playoffs, I had Tampa Bay versus Buffalo with the Bills on top. But now, obviously, it's the Bucs versus Kansas City. I'm going 24-21. Tampa Bay, Tom Brady helping you guys out in his first ever Super Bowl as an NFC opponent.
I like it, but I like it, but I don't. The only reason I say I like it is because it's close to mine. And here's why I have this weird conflict, because in the preseason, I cashed my ticket, baby, 31-1. Buccaneers, Chiefs had it in the preseason and cashed that ticket, man. So it was awesome. But I had said in my preseason predictions the Chiefs would win. But then I also have a Buccaneer ticket at 15-1. I did that in December, and they're my favorite team. So I appreciate you picking my Bucs. I guess initially, and I said I didn't like the pick because I'm one of those people that's always stubborn to not change their pick, and I almost never, ever change my pick. However, I think I'm allowed to now because one time I wrote it down and the other one I bet on. So I'm going with my team, the team I bet on, 27-24. If you remember that game earlier in the season, Tony Romo even said we might see a rematch in the Super Bowl. The big key of that game was Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill was pacing to break the single game NFL receiving yard mark. Luckily, Tampa was able to, and I use this phrase lightly, slow him down in the second half. He's the key of the game. If they can slow down Tyreek Hill, they can beat the Chiefs 27-24. My Buccaneers bring home the Super Bowl, even though they don't have to bring it home because they're playing in Raymond James Stadium.
All right. Well, I like it. we're both picking the Bucs. You know, I think there's a little echo in this room, but MVP, I'm going with Brady. I mean, if the Bucs are winning, are you gonna? I'm guessing you're going your man Tom.
Of course, yes. Here's the thing, right? Brady's won 6 Super Bowls, if my math's correct. In 4 of the 6, he was the MVP. The only 2 were Deion Branch and Julian Edelman. Some could argue that maybe James White should have won one, but 4 or 6, Brady plays well. He's going to be the MVP. Absolutely, Tom Brady MVP.
All right, I like it. So we'll see what happens. Tom Brady, will he get his 7th ring? Who knows? We'll find out on Sunday. 6:20. My buddy actually just wanted to switch shifts with me, so I am not bartending for the Super Bowl. All right, I wanna get into a little podcasting and radio since they're both, still fresh to you. What do you like about podcasting more than radio, and what don't you like?
What I like about podcasting is that, for the lack of a better phrase, I can kind of stretch out. If I want to tell a story, if I have a really good take, if I'm having a great interview. In radio, you kind of have what's called a clock. That means you got to go to break at a certain point to make sure all the commercials play in that certain hour. I don't have to do that in a podcast. If I feel like the content is good, I don't have to stop myself. So that's something I find really appealing about this format. And I can do different things. I can do what's called evergreen content. So I'm so used to having to do the biggest stories of the day. And sometimes a big story of a day isn't really a big story. It's just something to talk about. In podcasts, you can just talk about something that's going to be relevant 3, 6, 9 months from now, and people can go back and listen. I think great TV shows like The Office and Schitt's Creek, when they aired on NBC, The Office, and when Schitt's Creek aired on Pop, they were popular, but they got more popular years later because people found it. So that's what I really like about podcasts. What I don't like about podcasts is that I'm so used to the radio format that when I do an episode or I have an interview and I post it, I immediately go to my phone. I'm like, all right, where's the feedback? Let's go. Let's read it. That's not how that works. People will listen when they want and consume the product when they want. So it's very bizarre to get a text a week later from something you post. Be like, man, I love that episode. Can't wait to listen to more. And I'm like, I didn't post anymore. Oh, you're still on episode 1. Like that's the craziest thing for me to get with.
It was just, it's so different. I mean, I've never been on the radio, but I was in college, but I didn't really get like the analytics and I didn't really see all that side of everything. But all right. Big plans for your pod in 2021. Let's hear them.
Hopefully, if you're a young media member, if you're a young business person, an entrepreneur, a coach, an athlete, you will listen to the podcast and say, wow, that's the path I want to take. I didn't know how to get to the NFL, but this person just told me their story. I didn't know how to start my own business. They told me my story. I didn't know how to get a job in radio or writing or television. I hope that people will hear these stories and enjoy them. Monday episodes are going to be out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday episodes are going to be me telling my stories. People in our career like to always act like everything was wonderful and never made mistakes. That's far from true. I'm going to be raw and authentic with my story. Sometimes I'll look good. Sometimes I won't, but I think people will appreciate the honesty. Wednesday, we're going to hear from other people. And then Friday, we're going to get heavier into sports. We're going to do a lot of the sports, biggest news of the day and everything else. So I'm looking forward to what 2021 is going to bring.
But tell us where to listen and follow to your podcast. Plug us right now. Hit that plug.
Getting There With Goz, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Download, subscribe, rate, and review, please. Appreciate all the support you can get. Go back and listen to some old episodes. Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Download, subscribe, rate, and review, please.
Love that, guys. And before we leave, quickly, please recap on the story that you told on your podcast and how bad I screwed up.
Go. Yeah. So if you listen to episode 2 of the podcast, there's a story that's referenced about August of 2019. And basically, I'm upset about something that happened since that weekend. 18, thank you. Whatever it is, 18 or 19. I don't even know at this point. Whatever it was, Brian's involved and he screws up and basically can't get a show on the air. And I'm not the brand manager at that point, but I'm taking the call anyway to help him. So the poor guy's struggling. It's his first time on the board. But while he's doing it, 3 other people are calling me. So I get a call from somebody else, then a call from somebody else, then a call. So the show went on basically an hour later than it was supposed to. And it wasn't you. It was that 3 people are yelling at me and I'm trying to help you through it, even though it's not my job to help you at that point. So that was the frustration. Nothing. Look, like you screw up, you screw up. Right. You screw up, you screw up. But it was that I was doing a job that wasn't my job and I was getting yelled at for the job that wasn't my job, that I wasn't doing that job well enough. I know that got confusing, but I hope that makes sense.
No, it does. It does make sense. Goz, thank you so much for joining me, man. Guys, get in there with Goz. Find it on Apple and Spotify and wherever you listen. Thank you guys for joining the Back Nine, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Dude, that was so much better. I'm glad we did the second version.